Hey folks, welcome back to our Dice Tower preview. I'm Mark, and today we're taking a look at Inventure Quest. Inventure Quest is brought to you by Birtle Games. It's for 2 to 6 players, ages 12 and up, and games range anywhere from 30 to 120 minutes. Inventure Quest is a collaborative role-playing and storytelling game. Each player plays as a character on a quest, which you will go on together. The game combines mechanics from classic RPGs and symbol interpretation games. You interpret symbols to decide how your character should react to a problem. And as you journey through the game, you and your fellow players will start to learn more about each other and your characters. Successful choices will move the green pawn along the track on the scoreboard. Poor choices will move the red pawn. To win, you need the green pawn to reach the end first. So all your choices will carry weight and help drive the story. So setup in this game really can be involved or it can be quick. So right out of the gate, the first thing you're trying to decide on is the setting. Is it going to be a classical fantasy RPG that you're doing? Is it going to be sci-fi, steampunk? Or maybe you're living the lives of your favorite TV show. It can be literally anything you want it to be. And then secondly, you're either choosing characters that are provided or you're going to be creating characters. And they give you a whole list of traits that you can add to these character sheets. And of course, it's up to you to name the character as well as give it its own bio, its own history, its rich history you're hoping to create that can add a lot to the story. And then it's time to create your quest. Now, they give you some starting quests that you could potentially use, like finding a rare and valuable crystal in an abandoned monster-infested mine, or overthrowing an evil wizard who lives in a castle on a mountain, or simply escorting a prince or princess to a kingdom on the other side of a dangerous jungle. Or you can just start off and create your own, but they do give you some guidelines. You draw 2 objective cards, and these objective cards are going to have symbols basically, and you can interpret these really throughout the game. All these symbols and things, you can interpret these how you see fit, which is part of the storytelling and richness of the game. Now, in this case, we've drawn a mountain and a helmet. So maybe we're traveling to the mountains far to the east to find the Helmet of Doom. That could be the start of the adventure. Simply that. I mean, it could be any number of combinations of things, but you get to collectively decide how the story is going to start. And what's fun too is that you all start off in a tavern. And in the tavern, you've never met. So you have to bring the party together to start the adventure. And then you're going to decide how involved or how long or how difficult the game's going to be. And the rulebook does give some suggestions on how you might do this, but it's really kind of up to you how far you want to go in the story and what the mile markers, so to say, are as you travel through the different chapters of what you're doing. So you'll set up the scoreboard here or the tracker appropriately, putting the red and green pawns on the 8th position. Now, there's all kinds of cards and things you're going to set up. Obviously, you have your character sheets that you've either created or you've just chosen from. Now, each player also gets a set of cards that are going to match the different choice boards that you're going to place out on the table. Basically, it's just being A, B, C, D. And this is, again, set up for a 3-player game. There's several different card types here. You have action cards, you have objective cards, and challenge cards. And then you have your handy turn guide as well as a story guide to kind of help you through the story if you need some prompting and so forth. But you don't necessarily have to use it, but it does help specifically new players, or if you're kind of stuck in the story, it might really aid you. But as the cards evolve and as you progress through the game, it's just going to be up to you collectively to decide how the story proceeds. So the mechanics of the cards and how you play is very straightforward, but the involvement really comes with telling the story and solving the problems that come about. Now, what you're first doing is looking at the choice cards that are out here on the table, and you're going to be placing an object and an action card on each of those. You as the active player are going to look at those, and based on how the story started, in our case, again, we are traveling to the mountains to the east to find the Helmet of Doom. So in this case, I'm looking at these different cards, trying to decide what would be my next step in that story. And just using the symbols and interpreting them as you see fit. It's really up to you how you tell this story. So you'll take one of your cards and secretly, without talking to the other players, pick your choice of those choice boards. and place it to the side. And then the next step is everyone else at the table will then discuss openly what your choice might have been based on the story element that you are currently in. Now, they're going to be talking among themselves and trying to decide as well. They may not all agree, so they may be picking different things, but you hopefully have conveyed enough of the story that gives them some idea of what you might pick as the next step. So all the players at the table will show their votes for the story element, and they'll flip over their cards showing what they've picked. And hopefully there's some synergy between all of you so you can advance the green marker. But here you're going to decide, and you as the active player then will flip your card and show your choice. Now, you're going to continue the story. What happens based on what you chose? Is it correct because of what the other players chose, or did they choose poorly and now you're headed down maybe a not so optimal path of the story? You never know what's going to happen here. So hopefully they've chosen and gone along with what you think. And part of this is learning the different characters and your player and your fellow players at the table, learning what they might do. And it becomes a synergy as you play more and more and as the story advances. But in this case, maybe I have traits that say I'm greedy. And I pick this one in particular that's a sneak and hide stealthy, which might suggest either that someone, a shadowy cloaked figure, approached us and offered us a ton of money to go find this helmet of doom, or someone approached us and said, hey, you're going to have to use extreme stealth, and I'm still going to offer you extreme amount of money to find this helmet, but you know, there is a wizard or a dragon guarding this helmet. And what's also nice that there is this story guide to help you along the way. Basically, you can fill in the blanks if you need help with the story, but this is pretty interesting because it's like faced with the challenge of getting the helmet of doom, I've decided, you know, to try and solve this problem for this shadowy figure because I am greedy and he offered us a lot of money. So there's definitely guides here, and you can take it into that negative path if you need to, but based on how that plays out, it will determine how you move the markers on the scoreboard over here. And again, this is more about storytelling, and the cards and things just give you a guide through the story. So think of it that way. There's a lot of imagination, a lot of just working together to tell the story, which really works well. And so then you'll move the appropriate marker based on the outcome of the voting. Either you're moving the green or the red or so forth. But then it's time to address the next problem in the story. And before it moves on to the next player, you will draw a challenge card, which in this case we have strange weather, and we draw an objective card, which is a wall, barrier, obstacle. So this could mean all kinds of different things, but this will set up the next problem or story element for you guys to tackle. And then you'll continue this way until you get to the agreed upon story length, and you'll finish out the story. Either you did well or you failed, but it's up to you to help drive the story. All right, folks, just a reminder once again, this has been a Dice Tower paid preview, and everything you've seen here has been in prototype form, so keep a close eye on the campaign for any changes that still may occur. Now, this game is heavily reliant on you telling your own story, using your imagination, and so forth. But what's nice is the cards and the character sheets and everything give you a nice outline, a nice guiding point to help you through the story, and some challenging issues that might come up, and the symbols you can interpret how you see fit. So again, it's really up to you as a team to tell the story and make it through to the other side. Now, I really like storytelling games, so this appeals to me, and I've played RPGs forever. So this outlining how they're doing here and setting up the story elements for you really is an interesting prospect, because you really can truly play in any world that you want it to be. But folks, ultimately, if this looks like something that would be of interest to you, I'm sure they'd appreciate your support. So I think that's it from me, and until next time, we'll see you at the table.